I find myself often having to take drives out in the mountains, around the lakes, down the back roads, just to quiet my nervous system at times. I find that I'm having to do it more and more lately. Nonetheless, today is one of those days. Last couple of days I have not felt well. And I've been having some dizzy spells and just not feeling good and nauseous and but not hungry, and it's just, I go through this from time to time. And I want to exhaust you with all the details, but as I've mentioned before, I do struggle health-wise often. And some days it is more difficult than others. But I do find driving, it's interesting that driving just in the back roads for long distances tends to calm. It has a calming effect on my body, a calming effect on my mind, and so that's what I do. I just end up going stir crazy sitting in the house, and there are just days when I just cannot. I'm there so much. I work from home, and we live in such a small area. It's just like there's nowhere to escape, and so my only escape is to get in the car and to drive. Anyway, my wife and I went to church this morning. Today is Mission Sunday in the Anglican Church, at least in the ACNA. Took a picture. That's Father Dan. Father Dan is a missionary. I believe he said he lives in Alabama right now, but he is from Kenya, and he was here at seminary, and then met his wife, had a family, and is now a missionary to Muslims. And interesting enough, he said that he is actually ministering to more Hindus now than actually Muslims, so it's interesting. Anyway, I have a printer that I take pictures of and put in my journal, so I took a picture of Father Dan at church today so that I could remember him and pray for him. And anyway, one of the services that I most loved in the Orthodox tradition is Matins. Matins service. I remember early on having when I was just getting into becoming Orthodox, I stumbled into a Matin service and just fell in love with it. If you've never been to one, it's dark and it's very contemplative and just candles and icons, and it's just it's the place. It's a wonderful, wonderful time for reflection and for prayer and praying the Psalms, the 6 Psalms, and at one point, I began to be involved in that and began to chant. And so it was interesting today, this morning, having not felt good yesterday and feeling bad today, ended up having some weird dreams last night, and I don't know anything about dreams or what that means, or if it means anything, or if just my subconscious is so twisted and wrecked that I just have this mash of people and places and things that end up in my dreams. But I just woke up exhausted, like I'd been fighting, and just sick to my stomach and headaches and anyway, it's so getting up and reading, realizing that today's Psalter reading is Psalm 38, and actually it's 37 in the Septuagint. This, I remember often reading on Sundays, chanting Psalm 37, 38, and just being broken. I remember often there were times when I didn't think I was going to be able to get through the psalm, just because it resonates so much with me. Rebuke me not, O Lord, in your anger, neither chasten me in your weighty displeasure. For your arrows stick fast in me, and your hand presses me hard. There's no health in my flesh because of your displeasure, neither is there any rest in my bones by reason of my sin. For my iniquities have gone over my head, and like a heavy burden, too much for me to bear. My wounds stink and fester by reason of my foolishness, and I am brought into such great trouble and misery that I go about mourning all the day long. For my loins are filled with burning, and there is no wholeness in my body. I am feeble and sorely smitten. I have roared because of the tumult of my heart. Lord, you know all my desires, and my groanings are not hid from you. My heart is panting, my strength has failed me, and the sight of my eyes is gone from me. My friends and my neighbors turn away from my trouble, and my kinsmen stand afar off. Those also who seek after my life lay snares for me, and those who go about to do me evil talk of wickedness and imagine deceit all the day long. As for me, I am like the deaf who hear it not, and as one who is mute, who does not open his mouth. I have become like a man who hears not, and whose mouth is no reproofs. For in you, O Lord, I have put my trust. Ye shall answer me, the Lord is my God. I have said, let not my enemies triumph over me, and when my foot slipped, they rejoice greatly over me. Truly, I am about to fall, and my pain is ever with me. That's true. For I will confess my wickedness and be sorry for my sins, but my enemies live and are mighty, and those who hate me wrongfully are many in number. Those also who repay evil for good are against me, because I follow that which is good. Forsake me not, O Lord my God, and be not far from me. Make haste to help me, O Lord my God of my salvation. Such a beautiful, truthful, even more so in the Septuagint, in the Psalter that is adapted by the Orthodox monasteries. nonetheless. And then, even Psalm 39 is the same way. And then Psalm 40, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my call. Anyway. I both love this psalm and I loathe it, just because it speaks so much truth to me. It is like a mirror oftentimes when I read it, reflecting back to me things that I don't want to deal with, things that I don't want to deal with. It's very interesting. In regards to that, I just finished a book called Suffering by Paul David Tripp. For those that may not know, he's evangelical, reformed pastor, counselor, speaker. Let's see if I can't. That's him. But this book is a mixed bag to me, and it wasn't until the very end of the book, like page 190 here, and this is the only line that I marked in the whole book. Clearly, God has called me to experience what I had no plans or desire to experience in order to produce in me what I could never create on my own. The Bible has a name for this: grace. There's some good things in this book. I don't want to leave it at that. There are some really good lessons and thoughts and questions, study material that you can use. But like I said, sometimes it's a mixed bag. He recounts his sufferings and the things that his health tribulations and trials and kidney disease and on and on and on, and the pain that he had to endure and that still endures, and how he got by with God's help. Sometimes it seems, how would you say it? Sometimes it seems like it just seems to me unattainable. It's like, okay, like I don't even know how to describe it other than often it just seemed like unattainable, unreachable, like he is. It reads often like he's like some super spiritual giant, which I know he would probably not say that, but it just reads like he's got it together and the rest of us don't. And then some places it's very, very humble. But this is what stood out to me in this whole book, 200 plus pages, however many it is. Clearly, God has called me to experience what I had not planned or desired, or God has called me to experience what I had no plan or desire to experience in order to produce in me what I would never create on my own. And the Bible has a name for this. It's called grace. It's hard. Sometimes life is just difficult. It's hard. It's unrelenting. It's painful. It seems that like the trials and troubles and tribulations and pain and difficulties just compound and compound and never stop. And it's helpful. I'm thankful for the Psalter that there is hope there. There is hope when I can identify with a psalm or multiple psalms, and then I know it's okay for my complaint. I know it's okay for me to share my complaint, for me to lament That's what I like about, I think in the Jerusalem Bible, in one of those Psalms that I read from, I think I've got it here with me. I just ordered a Jerusalem Bible because Phyllis Tickle uses that translation mostly in the Divine Hours. There's a refrain in here somewhere. I probably will not be able to find it. But it's the psalm. It says that the Lord hears our complaint. The Lord, I make my complaint and my lament known before the Lord. Here it is. The cry of the church, Psalm 55:18. In the evening, in morning, and noonday will I complain and lament, and he will hear my voice. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And it's almost as if this verse, reading it in that way, in that translation, gives me permission to complain, to lament to the Lord, and to cry out, just like the psalmist did and does. He complains, he laments, he yells, he screams, he's confused, he doesn't know what's going on, his pain, his agony, his suffering. And then he just turns and hopes in God, The Lord's going to hear me. The Lord hears me. The Lord's going to help. And that for me, there's so much hope in that. Anyway, that's just really what I wanted to share today. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for listening. Appreciate your prayers.